welcome. You're watching NDTV Profit. This is Your Money Matters, and I am Mahima Vajrajani. Now, the two important topics that we're going to take up today is going to be how to declutter your portfolio, and the second one is with regards to where sectoral and thematic funds are concerned. But first, with regards to where decluttering of your portfolio is concerned, many investors today are unknowingly sitting on cluttered portfolios, too many funds, overlapping stocks and investments made without a clear goal. Now, while diversification is important, excess clutter can also dilute your returns and create confusion. To help us understand as to how to simplify and streamline your investments, we are now joined by Mrin Agarwal, who is the financial educator and founder of FinSafe India. Mrin, great to have you with us today. Let me start by asking you, what exactly is a cluttered investment portfolio? How does it look like? And how, can you identify what is cluttering your portfolio exactly?
Thank you, Mahima, for having me on the show, firstly. Well, what does a cluttered portfolio look like? I think it looks like having 20 funds, or you could be having 20, 30 stocks. You could be having a whole lot of insurance policies. I once met someone who actually had 65 insurance policies. Okay. So, a cluttered portfolio would really mean a whole lot of investments that have been done all over the place. It could be having multiple bank accounts. We keep talking about portfolio, but I think we should also talk about other financial instruments, right? So it could be, trying to manage too many bank accounts. And the reason that we always talk about consolidation is really, because at the end of the day, with multitude of investments, it really gets very difficult to manage the portfolio. That's the bottom line. And at the end of the day, it also actually impacts your overall performance. So you really don't want to be in a situation like this where you have so many investments, difficult to track, and over diversification, which is impacting the portfolio.
Absolutely. I mean, 65 insurance policies is something that I've not heard of before. But so then what are the common mistakes that, people generally make that leads to overcluttering, and how can one, try to curb that?
So I think, one of the things that you really, the common mistakes, of course, we know, right? I mean, every time there's an NFO, you get into it. Somebody told you that there's this good IPO and you get into it. Somebody in your circle comes and tells you that there's this good tax saving policy that's available and you get into it. So mainly a lot of cluttering basically happens because people are always trying to chase the best investment, really. And, they somewhere lose track of it. Basically, that's what happens. Now, how do you declutter the portfolio, right? So I think the first thing is to check, make a list of all the investments that you have, all the instruments that you're holding, and really see that, are they actually, what is the number and how is it impacting your asset allocation, right? And I think that's the first thing. Now, for a lot of people who haven't even done their asset allocation, the first thing is to figure out, okay, how much do I want to have in debt and how much do I want to have in equity, and maybe how much do I want to have in alternative asset classes, let's say gold, for example, right? So I think the first thing that you really need to do is to figure out, what is it that you have, make a list of it, and then really see how does it really tie in with my existing asset allocation, or how does this really tie in with my investment goals.
Okay. The other aspect is with regards to, mutual funds, because a lot of people also don't understand that a lot of their mutual funds at the end of the day have the same stocks in common, right? So their mutual funds are ideally overlapping. How does one determine as to where to draw the line? What is the ideal number of mutual funds that they should have, and a common understanding as to this mutual fund versus this mutual fund is going to be overlapping, and how does one find that out?
Okay. So I think, when you look at the mutual fund space itself, and I would actually extend this to equities as well, direct stocks as well. So first and foremost, I think the first thing is to really look at what are the small holdings and get them out, because again, with the small holdings, it's not as if it's like really helping you increase your returns or anything. In fact, it's just making your portfolio difficult to manage. So I think the first thing is to really pull out all the small holdings from the portfolio. Secondly, looking at what is my allocation across different subcategories, right? So, for example, large cap, mid cap, small cap, what is the sort of allocation that I have overall on an equity basis, I'm saying. And then you need to figure out that, okay, is this tying in with my risk profile or not? Now, third thing to also do is to see how can I move out underperforming investments. So now how do you measure underperformance, right? So essentially, you look at if a fund has been consistently underperforming the benchmark for 12 to 18 months is when you need to take a call whether you want to exit or you're willing to hold on, because the reality, Mahima, is also that most funds go through cycles. And so if you've got into a good fund but it's having some bad times right now, it's okay to still stick on. And that's where I guess you will need some financial advice as well. Also, Mahima, one of the things I've seen in mutual funds is that people tend to get stuck on one fund house. So they'll have like a equity fund, balance fund from the same fund house, or you'll have similar category. Like, I've seen people having five Nifty 50 index funds from different fund houses. So, all of this doesn't give you any diversification. And the idea is that when you really want to declutter the portfolio, can I look at identifying the overlapping categories, subcategories, and fund houses, right? And of course, there are some, in terms of pure stock overlap in mutual funds, there are some websites where you can put in your fund and get an idea on the overlapping of stocks within the fund. So let's say you have 2 3 flexi cap funds, you can actually check what is the overlap of stocks within these funds as well, right? So that is on the overlap aspect. And I think the last aspect in the whole decluttering on mutual funds is to really check, there are certain categories of funds, like for example, thematic funds, which tend to be very concentrated. I would even put factor funds in this category, right? Because, when you're investing based on a factor, the fact is that you're concentrating yourself on a particular theme at the end of the day, right? So I would also say that one of the things that you also then need to check is that, do I really need these funds in my portfolio, and what role do they actually play in the portfolio, right? Thematic or factor funds. And lastly, are they funds like silver, for example? I've not been a very big votary of investing into silver, So, for example, let's say you looked at the prices of silver and you got into a silver ETF. The question to ask is, what role does this play in my portfolio? Is it tactical? Is it a core allocation? What am I really going to use this for? So, I think, the decluttering, what I would like to say is not just looking at the number of holdings and cutting out the small ones and underperforming ones, but also really looking much deeper into the portfolio to see that whatever you're owning, is there a reason for you to actually own that? And I think in terms of overall number of funds, I think 6 to 7 funds are good enough. You really don't need more than that.
Okay, I think you've answered my next question as well, as to how much is too much, and what is the kind of number of funds that you should ideally have in your portfolio in terms of where the mutual fund stands. Since you've already answered that, what is the kind of time frame within which you should continuously review your portfolio? I mean, is there a thumb rule in place?
I think once a year is good enough. I think anything more than that will be too much.
Okay. The other factor is with regards to how sometimes your emotional bias kind of also leads to over diversification, right? For example, as to how a human brain works is that there's a stock which is still in the red. You might want to continue to hold it, considering that it might turn into green at some given point of time. He or she, the person just continues to hold the counter just because there is an emotional attachment to the counter. How does one deal with that, considering when they sit to reconstruct their portfolio?
So I think you should always have some sort of limits in place in terms of, okay, I've held the stock for so many years and it's not doing well, so maybe I'll exit. But Mahima, a lot of qualitative factors also will come into play out here. Like, the stock could be undervalued right now and there could be a reason, but you expect it to bounce back. So keeping all of those factors aside, honestly, I think, if a stock, like you got into something which is a losing proposition, and, I think somewhere you need to cut cut the cord from with that stock. And so, it's always helpful to have like some sort of limits in place in terms of stop losses in place, which can basically help you with that.
Just one last quick question. What should an ideal, clean portfolio look like in terms of structure with different asset classes, mutual funds, equity, your insurance policy, etc.?
Well, I'm not a very big votary of investment linked insurance. In fact, insurance should be only bought for the term cover. So when you look at the investment portfolio, I think, three, four instruments stand out for me. One is, of course, the fixed deposit or debt funds, which can be used for the short term. You also have the NPS, which can be used for retirement. And I think for the other financial goals based upon the risk profile, of course, you've got equity funds and you've got balance funds. And, I would just say that have, limit the gold exposure to 15% and have at least 25 to 30% exposure to equities for you to really get a good, meaningful return on the portfolio that can actually beat inflation.
All right, okay, Mrin. That gives us an entire overview as to how you can go ahead and declutter your portfolio. I think it's the best conversation to have right now at the start of 2026. So, Mrin, thank you so much for taking us through that entire topic and, of course, helping our viewers with decluttering their portfolio. And, of course, thank you so much for taking out the time and speaking with us at NDTV Profit.